the white glove and you go more into box trucks.
There you go.
All right, so talk about that.
Yeah, so the box trucks are growing. My data, like I said, that my Amazon gave me to do good with. 100 is the idea score. I can't speak on their business, but if I were to assume, they're seeing that I'm doing good with that, so they reached out to me and asked that I have interest in doing some hostler services.
Hostler services.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, what is that? Maybe people listening right now don't know what that is either.
So what I found out what it is basically like a yard switcher. So picture like at an airport or like at a FedEx or JB Hunt or Walmart warehouse where you've got a whole bunch of trailers in the yard and you got those yard jockey trucks. Mm-hmm. They needed me to do that. And you could do it with the yard jockey truck that has the hydraulics and all that, or you could do it with a day cab. I didn't know that at the time. I just Googled to see what a hostler was because I already told them, yes, I can do it.
Right.
Only thing I got is box trucks.
Right.
And they were like, well, we need you to start. This might have been Friday after I went back and forth trying to negotiate a rate for them. It might have been Friday and they were like, we need you to start Monday. 2 trucks. I'm like, we'll be there.
Right. And now at this point, you don't have, well, you have the equipment, but you don't know you have the equipment because you have a day cab, right?
I didn't have a day cab.
Oh, you didn't have a day cab. Oh, you had box trucks.
I had box trucks.
Yeah, you didn't have no trucks yet.
No
so you didn't
trucks.
have a yard truck or a day cab.
Nope. The one thing I had was a relationship.
All you
with
had
a
was
rental
just a
company.
story.
A story. And a relationship with a rental company and some more deposit money that I had that I didn't have.
Okay.
So because they've already charged me for box trucks, so they're gonna tell me, well, this day cab is more deposit money. So
facts.
They're gonna hit you over the head. And so I got one. And I think Amazon, just to the best I can remember, they might have called me back and they were like, we need you to have 2. I'm like, well, I'll get you 2. I don't have no drivers or nothing, just myself and one of the other guys that was doing a white glove service that had his CDL. So it's just me and him, and I got a 7-day operation that I committed to.
Wow. What?
Yeah. So
And one day cab?
And 1 day cab.
So you guys are taking alternate shifts, using this 1 day cab, hooking up trailers, cranking trailers all day and dropping them
all day. So now it's like,
how much moves are you doing a day?
Man, anywhere from you could be doing anywhere from light 10 of them up to 20-30 moves a day.
Okay.
And that's 20 times in, 20 times out. There's a lot of drop and hooking.
Yep.
And so I back up. The very first trailer that I hooked up to, I hadn't been behind the wheel of a tractor trailer in some years now. And I high hooked. So, went past the
kingpin?
The kingpin, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That ain't good.
Yeah, the very first one.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But that wasn't even the story, man. I caught mine. It didn't result in an incident.
You didn't drop it?
I didn't drop it.
Okay.
But we started hiring. I can't even tell you exactly how the hiring phase came about. But at this point in time, I've got a couple more people on my team that are helping me grow it, helping with the recruiting and all of that. And we start hiring locally. And the area out in PA, Hazleton. So it's very diverse. I'm not gonna say very diverse. It's very much filled with people like me, minorities, eager to work. And it was interesting that they couldn't find anybody else. I remember the guy that called me from Amazon saying that, hey, we need, we got nobody else to go to. And I don't know if he was serious or not, but they called me out of the blue. I'm not in Hazleton. I didn't know anything about Hazleton. But when I got out there, I saw that there was a lot of people like me. Everyone out there had CDLs. And so at that point, it just became relationships. And I was giving anybody a relationship that needed one. I hired this guy. He got behind the wheel within 2 weeks. He high hooked. He didn't catch it.
Oh, man.
And we got an incident.
Wow.
$90,000 insurance claim.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we just got started and it's already over.
Right,
but
right.
It wasn't. I didn't know how insurance worked. It was his fault, but he was distracted from another third party. And we weathered that storm and it was just like, well, we got that one out the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me get another truck.
So you start basically building a yard jockey service. Like, so this Amazon facility is basically outsourced all their yard jockeying to you. And you're pretty much in charge of like hiring the guys and staffing and all that.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, the thing is, that's a great job. Like, and for anybody who's been in transportation, they'd love to be a yard jockey because you ain't got to go nowhere. You're in the yard all day as long as you know how to hook up the trailer and how to drop it. Did you ever get a yard horse?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. And I couldn't because they got us. Your first contract is always your worst contract.
Okay.
So what they ended up doing was, the reason they told me, they were like, we need you to have a day cab, because they wanted us to take the trailers off site.
Gotcha.
On the road.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a yard horse.
Exactly.
So they kind of got a 2-for-1.
Yeah. They definitely did. And I mean, it makes sense because they want to be able to get as much as they can out of you if they're paying you for the service. You got to do a quick shuttle or whatever the case may be.
Enough.
All right. Makes sense. All right. So that business in itself, how many drivers you have doing that? How many, like, you used to have, like, how many trucks did you need for that? Did you need like more than 2-3 trucks?
Yeah. So that business, it really started growing. So now at this point, it's still Davis CIS, but now we're departmentalizing. I've got that operation. I'm spanning out, and I got, over the road operation. I got, team contracts, all this stuff that's like coming at me, because we're doing a good job with the box trucks. We're doing a good job with the shuttles, and it's just like, here's more work.
Got you.
But that operation went from like 2 to at one point 6, 7 trucks, and I think we had probably 15, 16 people on shift. It was a 24/7 operation.
Wow.
24/7 operation.
Did you end up leasing all those trucks? Or?
All of them were leased.
Got you.
Yeah, all of them were leased. I didn't have the capital to scale like that.
Right.
Right. But we leased those. I ended up purchasing my sleepers. So we grabbed one sleeper and put that over the road, and had some more local routes that we're doing with other day cabs.
Okay. Got you. Still through Amazon.
But now I had a taste for a little more, so I'm venturing out to see what the brokers and all that can offer me.
Okay.
So now I'm playing with the load boards, seeing what I can get there. I'm trying to get dedicated contracts.
Right.
But I didn't know that the person on the other line was a broker, and I didn't understand that business. Wasn't able to focus on the load boards and the rates and all those different dynamics. But we did have that going on. But I'd be the first to admit that business was definitely not running like the shuttle business. We gave a lot of money away.
Yeah. Nah, 100%. I mean, the shuttle thing is just pretty much easy. It's just, simple.
Yeah.
But once you start getting out there on the road, it's a different game.
Yeah.
So you start expanding into getting out there on the road. You said you start looking for contracts. So you find these contracts on a load board, or are you like just reaching out to brokers or direct shippers? Like, what's your process for kind of trying to expand?
So I now at this point, I got a couple people on the admin team, but they have no experience. Right. I got no experience.
Right.
But I would assign, for example, he's my ops manager now, Josue. I assigned him. He was a dispatcher then.
Okay.
But the only thing he's dispatching is the shuttles and all that. But
right.
I got something
He's
else.
Telling guys when they got to come into work.
There you go.
Right.
But now I assigned him to deal with the brokers, because I can't deal with them. Rate con sheets and all this other stuff. I'm messing it up. It's getting lost. So he's helping me with the brokers and all that. And we start getting different routes assigned to us off of the load board. But it wasn't too consistent. But it wasn't that the industry wasn't providing us with work. It's just we weren't able to put our full energy into it because we were putting it into what was paying us for sure.
Right.
We're just trying to figure that piece out because we hear everybody else talking about it, different lanes and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get more into that.
Yeah. So okay. So who do you remember? Like, who were some of the first lanes or whatever? Because now, what are you doing? Are you doing like power only? Do you have trailers? Like, tell me about how you kind of start building this thing up.
Only.
Okay.
Power only.
Who you reaching out to? Like the C.H. Robinsons, the J.B. Hunts?
The J.B. Hunts. The only thing, Yep. So J.B. Hunt was one of the first ones that we got hooked up with. There was a couple other local companies. I can't remember those names. But they were a little easier to deal with. Cause I'm trying to get it going quick.
Right.
JB Hunt, you got to enter your carrier packet and all that stuff. I don't got time for that in my mind. But that wasn't business. But yeah, JB Hunt. We ran Walmart. Amazon had their own load board too, so I'm accessing that. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
Did you have to? I guess you had to hire like new drivers to do those particular routes, and you left like your yard guys still, or did you like switch out? How'd you handle that?
So we took some of our yard drivers and would allow them to graduate to the road, because a lot of them that were coming in, they were coming in fresh out of trucking school, so I would put them on the road a couple days. I've got my Indeed post that's bringing people in. The drivers, they're doing good. They're pretty happy, so they're bringing in different people that they know as well. So we were okay as far as like staffing, and I was able to start them here on the shuttle, move them over to the road like you were just describing, and it worked. I wasn't on the road at all.
Right.
So it was working.
Got you. What was like your typical loads that you were kind of running these guys when you were going over the road? Like what was a typical work that you were doing? Do you remember?
Man, it could be dog food. We didn't know what it was. Whatever the broker would give us, man.
Right.
At one point in time, I had a driver call me. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm sitting and it's a load of chocolate." I said, "Do what?" He says, "A load of chocolate." This is summertime. And it wasn't in a reefer unit. I'm just like, well, that's gonna be all melted.
Right.
But we will haul anything, light, heavy. I wasn't factoring no fuel or nothing. Just
got you. Just doing what you got to do. But it was all power only. You guys never got any trailers.
Never got any trailers until 2021. We start grabbing trailers.
Okay. Why'd you do that? What was the purpose for that?
So we were growing at that point. Found out about dedicated contracts.
Okay.
So you got state, federal contracts that are out there, and they require you to have you got to come with your equipment. You got to have a full package. So I just started grabbing trailers. I went and grabbed some flatbeds. We grabbed 3 flatbeds. Picked up two vans of our own that we owned, and then, as we would scale the needs for the different contracts that we were filling, we would just go lease the rest of them. Okay, got you. So you actually financed some of them, and then you would lease, like you said, to scale as they gave you more work. How'd you get into some of these state and federal opportunities? How did that work? Certification. So I got hooked up with the New Jersey African American Chamber of Commerce, right? And prior to that, I didn't know about any certifications. Didn't care about certification. I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
But certifications being like, we're minorities. So a lot of organizations, state, federal, whatever, public, private sector, they have certain quotas that they have to, meet for minorities or veterans and all that stuff. And the chamber started educating me to different certifications that, would help me.
Yeah.
So just start going through those processes, getting the certifications in place, and now finding that, with this certification, Pepsi or Coke or Walmart that didn't pick up the phone before has a taste for me now, because I've got this recognition, this certification. Yeah. And that's something I would definitely tell people, get your certifications. Yeah. There's a lot of different federal, state, and local certifications that are out there that will help your business. And most of them are free.
Right.
In fact, I haven't found one that cost me any money.
If you twisted, confused, or stuck about trucks, don't be dumb. This is the place to come. Truck and hustle. Let's go.